So the question is, what does the following code print? Is it good coding? If not, how could it be improved? So we have int s equals 1, int n, for n equals 1 to n less than or equal to 5, n plus plus, s equals s plus n, cout s. All right, so let's answer the first question. Does that look like good coding to you?
Well, it has single letter variables.
It has single letter variables. Okay, so that's not great. That's right. So we shouldn't do that. But other than that, does it look like good coding to you? There's what? Why are there two ints? S stands for sum. S is summing something up. And n is just the variable that we're using to control our for loop. So that's why we need two of them. N is controlling the loop, and S stands for sum. Should have just used the word sum, I guess, but I didn't. Anything else not good about it? Go ahead, Alyssa. Okay. The only thing I would say is when it goes to print, it's going to just print things right next to each other. So it could have used a space maybe or an end line each time. But maybe we wanted them printed right next to each other. I don't know. But that seems a little weird to me right there. All right, so, well, then what is it going to print? Well, I think it would help if we built a little table here. We're going to have n, we're going to have s. S starts at 1, n starts at 1. So n is 1, we come into the loop, s equals s plus n. So s is going to be 2, and then it's going to print 2. And then we jump back. N becomes 2. We add s equals s plus n, so 2 plus 2 is 4, and it prints 4. Jumps back, n becomes 3, and it goes over and over again. 3 plus 4 is 7, so it prints a 7. And then n becomes 4, 4 plus 7 is 11. N becomes 5, and it's still good because we have less than or equal to. 5 plus 11 is 16. So I think that's going to print 2, 4, 7, 11, 16. All right in order like that, no spaces, no end lines, nothing. All right, so I think that coding was pretty good. There are some things maybe we could have cleaned up a little bit, but pretty good. How about B? Good coding, yes or no? No. Why not? What's wrong with it? All right, so normally in our for statement we have initial condition, test condition, and then we should have increment. So we should be changing our variable n right here. Are we changing our variable n? No, but interesting enough, this will actually work. You can put a cout statement right there, and it will actually work, and it will actually print. But it's not really a great idea. So what should happen? This n equals n plus 2 really should be where? That really should be where the cout is. Should the cout be before the s equals s plus n or after the s equals s plus n? Probably after, but again, it kind of depends on what you want it to be. We don't know for sure. So I don't think this is great coding. I think the n equals n plus 2 should be here. And this cout should be one place or the other. I'm not sure where. Cout s should either be there or there, depending on what you want. But as this code is written, what will it print? Well, again, I think it helps to start with a little table. N and S both start at 1. So n equals 1. It's going to come into this loop, and n equals n plus 2, so n is now the number 3. S becomes 3 plus n. 3 plus n is 4. And then it prints. It tries to increment, but there's not an increment there, so it prints. So what's it going to print? It's going to print the number 4. And then n will be 2 more, so n becomes 5. And then we add, 5 plus 4 is 9. And then it prints 9. And it will run it again because it's not increment. What did you ask? Why didn't it print 1? Because it came into here, n was 1 and s was 1. N changed, so n became 3. Then it added, 3 plus 1 became 4, and then it prints here. It prints now. So it doesn't print until this position. Correct. And then you're right. You're absolutely right. It's going to run one more time. Because right now it comes back up here and it says n was less than or equal to 5. Well, right now n is 5. So is that acceptable? It is. So it's going to come into the loop again. N is going to be 7. 7 plus 9 is 16. It'll print the 16, but will it loop back again? No, because n is now too big. So that's kind of an interesting thing. Look at those numbers. What are those numbers? What's it creating? It's creating perfect squares. Would it keep going if we did the next one? Well, the next one we would add 2. That would be 9. 9 and 16 would be 25. The next one would be 11. 11 and would be 36. That's an interesting way to create perfect squares. Dealing with adding and adding 2 each time and then adding to the previous perfect square. That's kind of a cool trick. All right, how about C? Good coding or bad coding? Yeah, does that make it bad? I don't know that I would call it bad. It's definitely different. The C out is only going to happen once, but maybe that's what we wanted. Who knows? So maybe we want the C out in the loop. We don't know for sure, but it's outside the loop. But it is interesting that it increments here in the loop like it should, and then inside the loop it also increments. Maybe there's a reason you need it that way, so you can do it, but it seems strange. It seems maybe instead this should have been n equals n plus 2 of some sort. Maybe we should have added 2 here instead of add 1 here and add 1 there. That's okay. All right, but again, what will it print? And S. They both start at 1. So we come in here. S equals S plus n. So S becomes 2. We add 1 to n. So n becomes 2. And then we add 1 to n again. So n becomes 3. 3 is still less than 5, so we come into the loop. 3 plus 2 is 5. Then we add 1 to n here. We add 1 to n there. 5 is still less than or equal to 5, so we're still good. S is now 10. We add 1 to n. We add 1 to n. So n is going to be 7. Do we go into the loop again? No. So when we get all done, what's it going to print? 10 space 7. It'll print the S, it'll print the n. But notice n is the number 7. N gets all the way up to the number 7 because we add 1 here and we add 1 there. All right, D. Good coding, bad coding. Why is it bad coding? Okay, so let's assume up here there's a int n. So that's one bad thing that's true. There's no declaration of n. It's never going to run. It's not going to do anything, is it? Because n starts at 1, n less than or equal to x, x is 0. It's never going to run. It's not going to do anything. So is it good coding? Well, if you don't want it to do anything, it's good coding. Otherwise, it's wasted lines. It doesn't do anything. What's it going to print? Nothing. Hey, that's easy enough. Doesn't print anything. E, good coding, bad coding. I don't see anything wrong with that. Notice they declared their ints in here. Inside the for loop, you can do that. That's fine. What's it going to print? Hi, Ed?
Say hi 20 times and 100 times.
Anything under 20 print. So both of them.
But it's doing the one loop first because that's what's accurate. So it's just gonna
Correct.
print hi 20.
It's going to print hi, hi, hi 20 times. Because there is an end line each one. And then it's going to print ed, 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 and it's going to do that 100 times. So it's kind of goofy. I'm not sure if that's what we want it to do, but that's what it's going to do. Yeah. All right, so I think the coding there is fine. I don't really see any issues. Don't know why you would want it to do that, but that's what it's going to do. All right, F. All right, so I is not declared, nor is j. All right, so let's put one up here, int I, comma, j. Okay, so let's pretend those are there. Good coding or bad coding?
Me personally, I use brackets inside the for loop. Just because it's a little easier.
So it would be more clear, probably. This for j equals 1 loop, j equals I loop, I mean. The only thing that this loop is doing is this line. So I would agree it would probably help to put an extra set of curly brackets in there to distinguish clearly that that's the only thing inside that for loop. But of course it would run the way it is and it would run correctly. All right, so again, other than using a single letter variables, I think that's good coding. I don't see any issues with that. The curly bracket would clean things up a little bit. What's it going to print? All right, so this is called nested for loops, and we've seen nested while loops before. This is a good example of nested for loops. And again, if you're trying to chase down nested loops, I really think you need to start by building a table. So I starts at 4. And then we come into here. J starts at I. So J starts at 4. And then we see out J. So the first thing we're going to print is 4 and then a space. And then we go back up here. J becomes 1 smaller.
So that I equals will carry into that for loop?
Yes. Yep. Especially because it's declared out here. That always helps to declare outside. It's a global variable. It's available everywhere to the program.
I thought we just said declare outside of the for loop.
And we did declare it outside the for loop.
Right, I thought like I equals 4 would be outside of I carry.
No, I don't think so. No, this I will carry through because we declared it out here. It's a global variable. If I put 4 int I equals 4, that should still work because it would be inside the curly brackets of this for loop. It should work either way. All right, so I is 4, j is 4, we print 4 in a space. We come back here, j becomes 3, and we print 3 in a space. J becomes 2, we print 2 in a space. J becomes 1, we print 1 in a space. So that finishes off the j loop, doesn't it? Because now j is going to become 0. So I don't go into here. So now it prints the I value and then does an inline. I value, what's I? 4. So it prints that line and then it does an inline. What happens next? I becomes 3. So I come in here, j starts at I, so j becomes 3, and then what's it going to do? It's going to print 3, 2, 1, 3, because the last thing it prints is the I number. I becomes 2, so it goes 2, 1, 2, and finally 1, 1. I think that's what that's going to print. Questions on that one? All right, so I'm going to give you guys maybe like 10 minutes to think, 5 to 10 minutes to think about that one. See if you can figure out what it's going to do. And now I'm going to type it up because it looks kind of cool and I can't draw it by hand. So see if you can figure out what that one's going to print. See if you can describe it to me. I'll type it up and then we'll look at it on the screen. Alright, so the code as given drew the top half of the triangle and then we inverted it, added more code to get the bottom half of the triangle. Alright, let's see. We have time for one more, I think. Write program segments for the following. Write a for loop to read characters and start when and stop when an A is entered. So we did that, something similar with a while loop back a ways ago, where we counted the number of characters in a sentence. So this is kind of the same idea. How would you do that in a for loop? Okay. So int loop. So what you're saying is create an infinite loop, something that we know is going to be an infinite loop. We'll put an if statement in it with a break to get it out. Okay. So for, how am I going to make an infinite loop? Loop equals 1. Semicolon, not comma. Loop greater than 0. Loop plus plus. In that way, not only will we create an infinite loop, but this loop plus plus will also count the number of characters for us, won't it? That's kind of a cool idea. All right, so what goes inside our loop? Aren't we going to need to declare a character variable? We are going to need to declare a character variable so that it has something to read in. So character variable, what do you want to call it? Letter. I'll call it letter. Because we're going to read in letters, right? CH would have been a good choice too. I like letter. All right, so now what? CN letter. If letter equals,
Does it have to be in
quotes like that?
yeah.
Yes, it does, because it's a character variable. Break. And then at the end, I guess we can see out loop. All right, let's try it. This is a test. Period. So how many characters are there? There's 4, 6, 7, 11.
What about the spaces?
It will not count spaces, unfortunately. It'll only count the letters themselves. 12.
What about your
Because it counts the period, increments it, goes into the loop till it hits the break. Alright, so that's easy enough to fix though, right? Print loop minus 1. That's what I would do. That's the easy way to fix it.
So that's how word count works.
What's that?
So that's how word count works.
So wait, if you don't put
Except word count,
that's what's strange.
word count is counting strings. Because it's counting an entire word. So there's a way to do that too, but we don't.
It depends on how many characters.
And you can do how many characters, that's right.
If you don't put a period, you can just keep typing sentences.
And we keep typing.
Oh, you can do a question mark.
Yeah, so if I do a question mark, it's not going to stop, is it?
But it's not counted.
But it's going to count it. It will count a question mark. So it should we have 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Did I count wrong?
5, 9.
3, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. But it does count the question mark. Because we didn't tell it to break when it hit a question mark, did we? No. Only breaks when it hits a period.
Or letter.
So we could do an or and make it stop on a question mark, or make it stop on an exclamation mark. Any other things that end a sentence?
Is there a way to make it skippable for if you're not possible?
Yes, you could have an if. If it reads an apostrophe, then loop minus 1. And you'd have to put that in for every scenario, like a colon or a comma or a semicolon. You'd have to tell it to skip all of those. Be a big pain in the neck. All right, so that works. That's not how I was going to do it, though. Here's how I was going to do it. I was going to have it read the letter. So you can do that inside of for loops too. That's a way of initializing a variable, isn't it? Have it be read from the keyboard. That initializes a variable. When do I want it to stop? When letter equals period. And then how do I increment my variable? I can't do plus plus to a letter. But I can read it again, can't I? So it reads the variable, tests to see if it's a period. Oops, I don't want. I want not equal, so I want it to stop when it's keep going as long as it's not equal to a period. When it's a period, I want it to stop. And then read the next letter. And then all I would have to do here is I'd have to initialize loop and then do loop plus plus. Semicolon. See out. Loop. All right, let's try it. Do I need the -1? Period. I know it's a question, but if I put a question mark, it's not going to stop. So how many letters do we have? We have 2, 3, 7, 10, 15, and then the 1 is actually going to be a letter, so it should be 16 letters. 16 letters. All right. So that's something that you probably wouldn't think about the first time you deal with for loops, is that a way to initialize a variable is to do a cin, and a way to update a variable is to do another cin. So that's kind of a slick little way of counting letters right there, I think. Questions on that? All right, the next two programs, those will take a while, so we don't have time to do that today. That's all right.